5-day faculty development program on the role of artificial intelligence in communication, organized by the Department of Basic Science and Humanities at the Institute of Engineering and Management, Kolkata, in collaboration with HRDC, IMUAM Group, and LTI. Today's session will be conducted by Professor Dilip Barad. Professor Barad is a distinguished academic professional with extensive experience in English language, literature, and education. He is the professor and the head of the Department of English at Maharaja Krishna Kumari Singhji Bhavnagar University, Gujarat, India, and has served in key academic roles, including Dean of the Faculty of Arts and Chairman of the Board of Studies for English. As a NAC assessor, he plays a pivotal role in evaluating higher education institutions, ensuring quality and standards. With over 26 years of teaching experience, he has mentored numerous doctoral, MPhil, and master students and engaged in significant research projects, including UGC and MHRD-funded projects. He has authored critical works, including The Women Characters in the Novel of Thomas Hardy, published research online instruction and South Asian literature, and contributed to books and teacher training modules. He has conducted numerous teachers training workshops, focusing on online teaching, blended learning, and ICT integration in language teaching, training hundreds of educators. His dedication and expertise have made him a respected figure in academic community, contributing significantly to English language and literature education. Today, his topic of discussion will be pedagogical strategies for integrating Gen AI communication skill in English. I now take the opportunity to invite Professor Barad to take over the session. Over to you, sir.
A very good afternoon, all the participants. Thanks a lot for inviting me into this FDP to have a brief interaction with the participants. So on AI, this is, I think, the third day, and most of you might now be aware also about how generative AI is operating and how people are using generative AI. Most of you might be using it extensively also. So we come to a point where we try to historically have an overview at where have we reached or where are we now today. If we look historically at the various pedagogies, various tools, various techniques, various strategies were utilized by human beings, and what were the implications, what are the implications, and how things can be worked out in our environment. So let me share my screen with everybody. Just a minute here. Okay, I hope the screen is visible to everybody.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Yeah, okay, thanks a lot. Yeah. So we want to look at pedagogical strategies for integrating generative AI in communication skills in English. But before that, as we said, let us have a historical overview of the things. Just a few days back, while browsing through the Facebook page, I came across this memory 12 years ago. Like we were making memes that can emails or emails like a form of a letter be delivered on Sunday or not? And somebody delivering some letters on Sunday was also a great surprise to us. And from there to the time where we have reached, where the very idea of time and space had been contracted. The idea of time and space had suddenly gone an overhaul with digital technologies and artificial intelligence also. If we look at historically at the journey that we have gone through so far, then we find that we all started this teaching, learning, or the entire education system was in oral traditions. So there were no written words also. Even the writings were not invented yet, but teaching, learning used to happen, and that was completely in oral tradition. Then a very interesting leap is taken from spoken word to written records, and we invented writings. So there is a very interesting history about how we were resistant to even writing when it was invented. In Plato's writings, we find that in one of his works, Phaedrus, one of Plato's dialogues, Phaedrus refers to this idea that when the Greek god invented writing and came down to one of the rulers and shared that I have invented something good for your people, the king resisted and said that, well, writing may only give an illusion to the people that they know something. If it is not in their memory, actually people don't know anything. So spoken word or something that is memorized is more important rather than something that is written in books. That is how we resisted to the writings when it was invented. Plato very famously also privileged speaking over writing. He told that when a word is spoken, it is near the truth because it comes from the mouth of the person who thought about it. So the spoken word is near the mind which has generated that idea. So that way it is more near the truth. But well, as we know now today that writing is not even considered as technology. We now do not resist writing. We do consider writing is an integral part, and we absolutely have no problem with writing. Whatever resistance Plato and many other people raised, we have forgotten those resistance also. Then from transition from handwritten manuscripts to printed text. It is the Renaissance time during which we find that this interesting transition is being seen or being observed also. Printing machines are invented, and as we know that Renaissance happened with the help of a couple of interesting things, wherein printing press and translation played a very vital role. So the printing book spread across the region very fast, and it helped people in reawakening their critical thinking, their humanistic approach from the dark ages there. So that was another interesting phase. Now then from print to audio-visual communications, when we come down to 20th century, we see that lots of inventions are happening now. Industrial revolution has done great many or brought in great many changes in the society. We may also say that it did all the damage that people were not ready for, but well, we are to a greater extent also enjoying the fruits of industrial revolution. So audio-visual communication as an advent of scientific inventions of 20th century. Then in the later half of the 20th century, we got internet. And internet has blended everything, the spoken, the oral tradition, the written records, the printed works, and audio and the audio visual tools. They all got merged into one now. So internet we see as something that has everything from oral traditions to the written texts to the printed one to audio visual material. Everything comes there. But that internet was a very static internet. It was a static internet. It was one-way communication. So around the 90s or at the turn of this century, at the beginning of this century, we started having a widespread use of internet, and that also in form of Web 2.0. That is interactive web. Evolution from static one-dimensional websites to interactive websites. And that was the time, like we remember last 20 years, we are talking about Web 2.0 tools and how it can help us in listening, speaking, reading, writing, lots of seminars, workshops, in ELT community, it used to happen. And we talked a lot about it. It became an integral part today. Language laboratories are there, applications are there. And through mobile applications and other things, we do use Web 2.0 tools and interactive web platforms for listening, reading, speaking, writing, LSRW, and other skills also. But now is the time, after 22, after November 22, when first time ChatGPT, OpenAI launched ChatGPT, we suddenly enter into altogether a different era. The era which perhaps was not imagined by us. We never thought that machines, generative machines, can work so effectively with language. And not only working with the language, but they also can become our thinking partners. They can become teachers, colleagues. They can become students, personal tutors. So these all things were unimaginable that we have seen, but we are now talking about all those things. We are in that era which we had not even dreamt for earlier. If we look at the idea, just a minute. If you want to connect the pedagogical strategies and pedagogical implications, that is where our point of discussion also is here, that how can we connect all these shifts in communication or these historical phases which we have undergone as a human being in the history of our civilization. How do we look at this in connection with pedagogical strategies and pedagogical implications? So in oral traditions, storytelling, oral recitations, Socratic questioning and dialogue were very important part. Emphasis was on memory and verbal communication skills. Language is communal, community-driven, context-driven, experiential. Knowledge transmission is flexible and adaptive during those phases. We need to keep in mind that when we move from when we shift from one to the another phase, it doesn't mean that the first one is completely erased. No, nothing is erased in terms of the history of knowledge. When we see, nothing is erased, everything remains. It gets slightly blended with the next stage. It slightly gets modified with the new thing that is coming. So we can say it gets upgraded, but none of those things are completely erased. That's why today when we talk about communication skills, we do speak about storytelling, oral recitations, Socratic questioning and dialogue. That is necessary part even today in generative AI tools. Then in spoken and written records, use of written text and note taking became very important, as we referred that in Plato's academy, nobody was allowed to write anything. Like you have to listen and remember. But now with the written text, now you are free to take your notes. You can write the things. We get formal education systems also with written text and other things there. Learning becomes more individualized and structured, emphasis on reading and writing skills, preservation of knowledge over time becomes more reliable and permanent. So these are that one, and we have those things also today in the era of AI also. From handwritten to printed text, when we move on, we find mass dissemination of textbooks and printed materials. Development of libraries, we see, and for formal curricula is seen. Learning becomes more accessible and standardized. Knowledge can be disseminated widely and uniformly. Expansion of education reach, democratization of knowledge. This is something very significant when we enter into an era of internet and AI also. When we see print to audio-visual communications, when we come to this phase, we get films, radio, television into teaching, multimedia presentations and educational broadcasts. And the implications pedagogically were enhanced engagement through multisensory learning. Learning becomes more dynamic and interactive. Visual and auditory learning styles are better supported by this. So we come to know that humans do not acquire knowledge only through words or either in written form or spoken form, but the multi-sensory perceptions the human beings can have ability to learn through those, and why can't those be used as pedagogical strategies? Now we had this tool, so it was possible. Then blending into digital space, the internet, use of online resources, e-learning platforms, integration of multimedia and hypertext in learning, global access to information is global. So now the narrowness within which we were working, the time and space, now that is broken, and the world becomes the classroom. The walls of the classrooms are broken now. The time within which we were supposed to have our interactions with our teachers is now broken. Learning is flexible and self-paced. Learners have access to vast array of resources and perspectives also, which is very significant, very important when we think of generative AI also. Collaboration across geographical boundaries became possible. Collaborative learning, the way we talk about now, it became possible across geographical boundaries. When we are in this era of Web 2.0 tools, from static websites to interactive Web 2.0, implementation of social media and collaborative tools like blogs, wikis, YouTube, use of online discussions and peer feedback became strategic tools. And here we find that learning became more interactive and participatory, emphasis on critical thinking and digital literacy. With the rise of digital platforms, we also have seen that people become a little bit lazy in taking pains in understanding. If something is easily given through Google search engine or now generative AI, people perhaps will not apply their brains. They will not apply their thinking capacities. And so the emphasis on critical thinking is growing in these days. That with all these things, possibly, probably, we may become weaker on our cognitive abilities, our ability to discern the right and the wrong, the good and the evil, that all may get jeopardized. And in that case, critical thinking, sharpening our mental cognitive abilities is very, very important. So now we are seeing that is emerging as pedagogical implications. Learners actively contribute to the creation of knowledge. Now that becomes very interesting part. The teacher-centered education system now starts becoming learner-centered education systems. And then in the last phase in which we are for last couple of years only now, we have 2.0 to generative AI. So here we see utilization of AI-driven tools for personalized learning and content generation. AI-enhanced self-tutoring systems and adaptive learning platforms. So that becomes strategies. So what we are seeing here, what we are getting in this phase is something like what we may call it as that every teacher is getting an assistant and every student is getting a personalized tutor. So teaching as well as learning, both the things are getting enhanced when AI-driven tools or AI-enhanced systems are utilized constructively, properly. Otherwise, they may also become cheating tools also. That also we are aware. So ethical considerations are very important in this. But we know that if we are able to, as a teachers and our students, if we are able to utilize AI-driven tools, then we can create personalized learning, content generation, and both the things we will see as an example also. We tried with several of those things in our classroom environment, and we found a very good success with both the things at the teacher level also and as a students level also. So that is what we want to discuss today. Learning becomes highly individualized and data driven, though data driven things are still not in our control as an end user of any generative AI machine. The data normally still remains with the companies, but we see in the future that we may have more personalized such tools in our institutes, and then we may be able to have an access to the data of and the users' behavioral patterns also. Today, we are able to see the analytics of YouTube users, blog users, website users. That data is made available to us. In the same line, we may hope that in future, even the AI machines as AI systems will also make the analytics available to the teachers or to the users also. AI facilitates the automation of routine tasks, allowing for more focus on higher order thinking skills. That is becoming something very significant, that in Bloom's taxonomy, we want to always move from lots to hots, from lower order thinkers to higher order thinkers. That is always our craving, our desire as a teacher. We dream for that. We make all the pedagogical strategies to see that somewhere our students are climbing the pyramid. From memorizing the things and remembering the things, they become the creators. So AI is making it possible that we can focus more on higher order thinking skills. Now, when we talk about all these things and we move on, we know very well the ground realities also. We know that Maslow is always before Bloom. And Maslow's idea that roti, kapda, makan, the food, the cloth, the shelter is always primarily very important for human beings. Physiological needs are always very important. Safety and security is very, very important for human beings. My belonging to where I am, that is very important. And then self-esteem and self-actualization comes. When we think of education in human lives, education normally comes at this level where I want to grow my self-esteem, or I want to self-actualize into something. From being, I want to become something. I am born, I am being, but if I want to become, then I require this two phases. But well, that is always thought by those people who do not have to care for or worry for physiological needs, safety and security, belongingness, then this comes. So we are aware and we know that countries like India, and on the earth, there are many poor countries where still we need to take care of this. Then perhaps we may think of Bloom's taxonomy. We are aware about these things also when we talk about it. But we hope that things are changing very fast. Infrastructural development is happening much faster than we expected. And so all our learners will be equipped with better digital tools in the coming years. And let us see that how am I ready for that future when I have to use all this, how am I ready for that? That is how we try to look at it. When we look at, from that context, when we look at the teacher in 21st century, what are the necessary tools in teacher toolkit? When we ask this question, are teachers ready for 21st century academic scene? Or are teachers aware about the new tools necessarily required in their toolkit? Or how teacher can be self-reliant in the pedagogy of digital age? Now, in this context, we have to look at this digital pedagogical model, or we are looking for a model. It is not a finished product yet, but in case we want to see what is digital pedagogy, are we ready for this before we climb this tiger or this beast, AI beast, before we ride that? How are we ready pedagogically for the digital era also? So are we having our own CMS and LMS, content management systems and learning management systems? Do we have those things with us? And when we think of self-reliant teacher, we think that teacher has a control over his or her own content, having control over content. I create my content, or whatever content I am using, it is under my control. It is organized by me on my platform. When I say teacher and my platform, it becomes like teacher has his own website or blog where the content is managed. So either the teacher should have a blog or a personal website through which they deal with the things. Then when we think of LMS, learning management systems, whether Google Classroom, which is very popular, or Moodle, or Blackboard, or any of the learning management systems teachers are using, are they well versed in saying that they are very good in using those management systems or not? From there, we see that for synchronous and asynchronous learning and teaching, video sharing platforms are very important. And as with the growing videos, reels, shorts, learner habits are changing, and there are chances that our minds are evolving to learn from videos than from books. So if we look at that, or it will learn from both books as well as videos. So how ready are we to deal with videos, to make videos, our own videos, and other things are there? It is very difficult also. That's why online during Corona time, things have failed a lot. We are still not a very good teachers or learners also in terms of online thing. But when I look at my own experience of last couple of years, that when during Corona times, which we were forced to learn so many new things, that like how to face a camera, how to face this camera. If I want to talk with you, I have to look inside the camera so that you may think that, well, I am doing an interaction with you. I'm trying to manage an eye contact. But I also know that when I have to read the screen, I look down. But time and again, for a while, I keep on maintaining my eye contact with the audience. Audience should keep their cameras on, so I also can see the audience, that how their facial expressions are changing. Are they interested or not in what I am saying? Should I repeat? Are there questions on the face or not? So all these things we do in the classroom. We keep on reading facial expressions of our students, and that's how we learn a lot from them. So how to work with videos, how to face camera, how to make videos, that all is an integral part, and all students should have at least one platform under their belt and in their toolkits where they keep on sharing their videos with the students, and also keep lot many things in public domain also, so that the teacher branding or the respect that we are every day losing in society, that can be maintained. Anybody can come and see that, see what we are doing, what we are teaching, how hard people are working in the academic institutions. So that an integral part or a very important part that we have to keep in mind there. And digital portfolio also, but today we are not talking about digital portfolios. I'm moving across from this. So we need this basic, that our teachers having their blogs, websites, and how good are they in dealing with camera, in dealing with digital tools, and having their own YouTube channels or video resources also. This is a symbolic image taken from Maharashtra, Ajanta Ellora caves, where the Buddhist monks are doing videography and photography of the caves. We know that 2000 years ago, or more than 2000 years, these caves were carved by Buddhist monks. Their tools then back then, the tools were hammer and chisel, hammer and chisel were their tools back then. Today, they are coming to visit this place, but they are not coming with hammer and chisel. They come with camera and they do videography. Now, this says that even monks or everybody realizes that if you want to move on in this time with pedagogies and other things, then we need to change our tools drastically also. Well, coming to the pedagogical strategies for generative AI and then to communication skills. Creating challenging worksheets becomes very important for pedagogical strategies. Now, what do we mean by creating challenging worksheets? It means that the worksheets that we prepare can really be useful to the learners in learning something tangible in whatever we deal with that idea. And it should be, the worksheet should be of such a nature that ready-made answers are not available. Ready-made answers are not available there. So when we work with generative AI, because we know that now generative AI can also help us in preparing worksheets. But what way we prompt and what we want, what we expect, if our expectations are higher, then generative AI will give us better worksheets. Otherwise, perhaps we may get worksheet, but it may not lead to the pedagogical outcome which we want to do there. That is one thing. We'll see the example, then we'll come to the second one here. I would like to share this blog link with everybody. In the chat, I am putting this blog link, or also in the let me put it in the WhatsApp also. Yeah, in the WhatsApp, I am sharing with Mritika madam, and Mritika madam can share this with the WhatsApp group there. And in the chat also, if I can share. Yeah, okay. In the chat also, I am putting this this link here. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Sushmita Tagore Mukherjee, I think, yeah, for the comment. Many times in an online mode, we just have to keep a comment so that our attendance is registered. I hope you have commented not only to register the attendance, but to give your input to the ongoing session. So this I have a look at this blog. Go through the blog to have a look, and then we are coming back to this. Any questions in between, you can put in the comment also, so we can keep on taking questions in between also. Okay, let me come to that blog also. I can share here also the blog. Yeah. With this blog link I have shared with all of you. Yeah. Now, this blog is about enhancing communication skills through case studies and problem solving, a comprehensive approach for undergraduate students with the help of ChatGPT 4.0. So, in this, we wanted to see that we want to prepare a lesson plan. And we used very simple prompts. The prompts were not very of a high kind. I will show you the prompts also. For example, our prompts were something like this, not very difficult one. Yeah, this, if you can have a look at, yeah. So the first prompt was, I am a teacher of communication skills at UG level. I want to teach communication skills with the help of case study and problem solving methods. So I am making my point very clear. I hope by this time, maybe in last 2 days, one of the speakers might have talked about how you need to train the machine, so that if you are more clear, you get a better result also. Please prepare a lesson plan for me. Please prepare a lesson plan for me. That was the first prompt. And this is the lesson plan. This is the lesson plan that we got. Effective communication through case studies and problem solving, duration 2 hours. Objectives to enhance students' communication skills through practical application to develop problem solving abilities, to foster collaboration. So we got the objective that what it will do, materials required, case study handouts for students, for teachers, both whiteboard and markers, audiovisual aids, yeah, assessment rubrics, notebooks and pens, yeah, and then the lesson outline, introduction 15 minutes, icebreaker activity, case study, introduction to case study. An example is workplace conflict, team project communication, or customer service scenario. Some examples are given. Group division, 4 to 5 students, case study analysis, problem solving, group presentation and feedback, reflection, wrap up, and the assessment. So we also got assessment rubric also, which is very important to see. So which remain open to the learners also, that you will be evaluated in this manner. So if the learner wants to perform in this lesson plan in an excellent manner, then they should be actively engaged in participation, clearly identify all key issues, solution, proposed creative or feasible solutions, and everything that is required there. Now, once I got this, still I wanted something more. Then so I asked that suggest a case for this lesson plan and give outline for the same. Okay, you have given the idea, theoretical idea is given, but still as a teacher, I have to still work on lot many things to fill the gaps. So I asked, suggest a case for this lesson and give an outline for this. So the second prompt, and then I got this in the same thread, team communications in a marketing project, case overview, background information, key characters. So there will be around 6 people doing a role play in this particular case study, communication issues, unclear roles and responsibilities, poor communication channels, scenario description is also given there, discussion points are also given, and there is this handout for students also. So students can also keep the handout and carry out the activity there. 2 case studies. The second one was crisis communication in a public relation firm. So the another 2 case studies generative AI prepared with all the detailed scenario description, discussion points, handouts for students, everything is ready there. But still, I was not still happy. Still, I was looking for something else in this there. So my concern was that basically it is an English language classroom. So what about English language abilities and grammar? That is still not coming here. So I asked that in both these cases, we also want to teach importance of English language abilities, grammar, vocabulary, etc. How can we teach these aspects of English language along with these case studies? So then I want to narrow down to this. I asked this, that how can we teach these aspects of English language along with these case studies? So it came with this idea about vocabulary and grammar review. So vocabulary list, grammar focus, incorporate language task into case studies, writing and presentation activities, report writing, presentation skills, role playing, language reflection and feedback. That also it came for both the case studies. The what language part, from vocabulary to reading and language analysis to writing and presentation, role playing, reflection and feedback. So the assessment criteria for this is vocabulary usage, grammar accuracy, clarity and cohesion, language function. That all became very important to be seen in this part also. Then I also, because I wanted to put it as a blog, I asked that give me 2 images, also couple of images. So the images that we have seen are also prepared by the same. These are all images being prepared by this generative AI. For the case study that you have given, please generate a kind of an image also for that, which can like help students in visualizing the scene which is going on, and the classroom scene also can be seen also. So to add a kind of an attraction through images, that also was prompted and we got a good image. And then I asked to give me an introductory paragraph and a title. It also is suggested. And when you read the first paragraph, it is coming with the 6th prompt here. And then finally, very important, what sorts of pedagogical implications for communication skills in English language can be attained through these case studies, which is very important thing to be seen. And then I got this, and it told that, well, you can, with this case studies, have these all pedagogical implications like contextualized learning, language learning, enhanced critical thinking and problem solving, collaborative learning and teamwork, development of professional communication skills, improvement in language fluency and accuracy, integration of multiple language skills, engagement and motivation, reflective practice, cultural and ethical considerations. So these are suggested. These are suggested by generative AI that, well, with these 2 case studies in the communication skills class, when you look for pedagogical implications, possibly this 9 pedagogical implications can be attained in your discussion. But well, we need to see also. This is what we get. Then we do the activity with the help of all these things in our classroom. And then we ask for feedback from the learners. And then we can see that, well, how the things are reaching out. How many things from these things are reaching out? What kind of changes are required? If I find that somewhere things are not working, I can again prompt generative AI and I can get an interesting feedback also. So this is one example where how we see that this generative AI can help teachers of communication skills in English language to create challenging worksheets, develop a case study, and allow students to interact in the classrooms also. We can also move one step ahead, and we can ask learners to use generative AI for all the steps that they have to move on, whatever steps they have to move on. We can ask them that you, okay, move on with this and see what ideas you are getting. With the help of those ideas, you perform in your case study, in your interaction with other fellows, in your group activity. Pick up an idea from this. Then also you work out there, and maybe the learners will perform better than what they might have done without the help of generative AI. They might do perhaps better rather than what they are doing also. Now, this idea that allowing students to use generative AI, wherein it becomes their personal tutor, individualized tutor for each and every student, comes from this article by Benjamin Bloom. The same famous Bloom's taxonomy that we use. Here's another article. He's talking about 2 sigma problem and the search for methods of group instruction as effective as one-to-one tutoring. So in this image, we see that individualized tutoring plus mastery learning can give us a better result in a lesser time. In a lesser time, we can get a better result. But we know that how can we provide one-to-one tutor to all our students? Our classroom strengths are much larger than expected. And then for teacher, it is nearly impossible to... Yeah, I think Koyal Ganguly is...
Participants are requested to mute themselves. Participants are requested to mute themselves.
Thank you. Yeah, that video was very interesting to watch. Koyal Ganguly's video. She was moving across somewhere, and we were able to see that also. Now, these are very interesting points. That why this online things are failing. There is not a problem with technology. Technology works very effectively. It gives you almost similar simulation as if you are face to face. But if the learners are not taking it sincerely, not sitting at one place and listening, taking notes carefully, then things can never work. Imagine there is an auditorium where we all have assembled together, and the speaker is speaking from the podium and everybody is moving in the class. There are stalls of eateries somewhere. somewhere a television is running, somewhere somebody is playing a table tennis indoor game, and all the participants are moving and speaker is speaking. Imagine, can ever learning happen? No way. That is exactly what we are doing, and then we blame technology. our our inability to use technology in an effective manner leads to blaming technology. And as humans always have a capacity to find a scapegoat to blame their own faults on something. That's what we do. Well, coming to our point, this individual tutoring, mastery learning plays a very significant role. But how to give, how to do that, that is very difficult. Now we are able to do work on this. And so we find that this 2 sigma problem has become opportunity now. This screen is taken from this TED talk of Salman Khan, Khan Academy's Salman Khan, and it is worth watching. The title of the talk also is How AI Could Save, Not Destroy Education. So that way it is. So that is where he discusses that how 2 sigma problem can turn into 2 sigma opportunity. We did one experiment with this. We tried this for self-assessment, that how it can help our students in learning the things also. So then we come to know that, well, how it works or how it can be useful in this way, whether it is really working or not. When we deal with students using ChatGPT or any of this generative AI, we need to teach this lesson also, that LLMs, this large language models, their responses may be hallucinatory also, or they may have confabulations also. They may con some answers. They may fabulate some fact. So everything that they give is not truth also. It may be fabled truth, or it is confabulation, or sometimes hallucinatory responses also might come from that. The only solution is that you need to train the beast properly. Give a prompt that who are you, what do you expect, very clearly. Then the element of hallucination or confabulation will reduce a lot also, that we need to do. So what we did in our experiment while working on this, we asked the students, our postgraduate students, they have written internal test exam, and then it was handwritten traditional exam that they have written. And then all their answer books we gave back to them in a classroom workshop mode. And then we gave them some prompts that use a ChatGPT or any generative AI and give a prompt. I am a postgraduate student seeking evaluation based on CEFR guidelines. Yes. This common European framework, which is used for IELTS and TOEFL exams. So I am giving the guidelines also, CEFR guidelines. Here are my introductory or middle or concluding paragraphs of this question. So they are writing question also, that I am writing an answer to this question. So they type it. Assess and place my response within A1 to C2 levels of CEFR. So where does my writing stand in A1 to C2? Under CEFR guidelines, C2 is the highest level. Additionally, provide suggestions to enhance the answer for C2 proficiency. Here is my answer. And so they will now type their answer also in this. So we got this way that here is the answer of the student. And here we see that what ChatGPT evaluated, did the evaluation. So it said that your writing falls under B1, B2 range. And if you want to enhance to C2 level, you need to do this 4 things. Depth and analysis, this way you have to work on. Language sophistication, this way you work. Historical context, critical reflection. Then your level can rise from B1, B2 to C2 level. Well, we may say that this is what we also can do. As a teacher, if they come to me, I will assess and I will tell that, well, you add depth and analysis, do language sophistication, add historical context, and you will be. So what's the use of AI? As a human being, I am also able to guide the student. I am also able to advise the student to do this. But the beauty of generative AI is that it doesn't only preach, it also practice also. It will also practice also. So then when the student will ask in the next prompt, the prompt will be compose high-level introductory middle concluding paragraph of this question. Ensure the response aligns with C2 proficiency according to CEFR guideline. Maintain a rigorous academic standard considering the postgraduate level of the writer. So now the learner is asking that this is my answer. This is my answer. And rewrite my answer. Don't give me an ideal answer, one general ideal, but give me the rewriting of my own answer of the C2 level under CEFR guideline. Now, if imagine you have 100 students in a class, and if 100 students are coming to you, you advise them. But if all 100 are asking that now, madam, sir, please write an answer for me. Imagine how many days will you take to write an ideal answer for your 100 students. And if you have more than 100 students, then how will you deal with that? Almost unimaginable for human capacity to reply that, but generative AI can do that. So when it was told, it also wrote an answer. It wrote an answer also, that this way if you will write, then it will be up to C2 level. And now students can compare their handwritten answer with generative AI, and they can do self-improvement. Self-evaluation is done. Now self-improvement also is possible with the help of this. So we did the experiment with this, and very interesting findings we got, that what way students are writing, what is the level of their writing, and if they want to improve their writing, how they need to change some of the text, and what way that improvement can be achieved. So lot many examples we took as case studies also, and it helped us a lot also. In this example, we see that even in many responses, there was a very good stance taking also. Stance taking, which is very difficult for even the postgraduate students when they write answer to have an appropriate stance taking. So here in this red line, we have written in the revised paragraph that we will delve into the main message or theme. So what we are going to do in a given context, that also many times students fail to take an appropriate stance in proving or disapproving some of the things also. So this way, this was very helpful. When we asked the students that what was the learning outcome after this activity, this workshop, they agreed that it helps in improving answer writing, it helps in enhancing language proficiency, self-assessment, skill development happens. So when next time you will write and try to read, you yourself will be able to see that if it is generative AI, it might correct the answer in this manner. Personalized learning experience, deeper understanding, reflective practice, confidence building. So in all this way, ChatGPT is very useful or very helpful in working out with the things also. As we move on, today we have in ChatGPT personalized, customized models also. So today I don't have to necessarily use general ChatGPT model. If I have a paid version, I can customize. So as a part of our experiment, we customized 3 models. English Studies Research Assistant, because we have PhD program also and dissertation writing at masters. So we use that. Then English Communication Guru also is another one which we used for communication skills of learners. And our own syllabus of our university is also there. So with the help of that, we try to see how customized model can work also. When we worked with research students, we found that our PhD students can get more focused response if there are customized model which can help in getting a better response. So here was the writing of a PhD scholar, and then there is this improvement, that where and how the learner can improve the writing. So as a part of my doctoral research, here it was as a part of PhD program. So PhD program becomes very formal, informal kind of a thing. When you are writing for academic purpose, then doctoral research. I will investigate. I, as a research scholar, will be explaining. Then instead of, it says, I will investigate the thing. And then the other wordings are also very good, which helps learners to see what way they are using the language and how that language can be improved also. That also one can easily understand in this thing. So in the both the way, in literature classroom, in PhD classroom, in communication skills classroom, everywhere we find that very interestingly, generative AI is helping us. Obviously, there are challenges, very difficult for us to give a simple homework now. Anything that we give, students will come with correct answers, and we don't know whether they are learning or anything is improving among learners or not. So there are challenges at hand, but at the same time, this all can be turned into opportunities. With the advent of generative AI, we can now explore previously unimagined frontiers in teaching and assessment. This is only the beginning of generative AI, and we are filled with immense excitement as we envision the possibilities of what future holds for us. So how we get ready pedagogically to use generative AI in our classrooms and see that the best can be, the best result can be drawn out from all these things here. Okay? We have 5 minutes for any questions or any queries if there are from participants.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an insightful session and throwing such an insightful light into the pedagogical development of education and how integration of AI can actually help us in enhancing uh, the pedagogy. Now, we have the floor open for questions. The chat box is enabled, so the participants are requested to post their questions on the chat box. I can see Dipanjan Pal has written, sir, can you please show the slide of R.K. Narayan once again?
Yeah, okay, I'm coming back to that. Yeah. Yeah, I think it was this one.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can take a screenshot in case you want to say anything on this. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The participants have any questions, then they can post it on the chat box. Meanwhile, I have a question for Professor Barad. So, sir, it's very interesting to note that how AI can leverage the education system, especially the way you have showcased it through numerous examples. The only issue that irks me a lot is the ethical issue. So, how do we address that?
Yes, and like ethical questions are there with us since the history of human civilization. Yeah. And we have to battle with that, with whatever thing comes. So what we used to do, I many times give an example that forget about the digital world, the normal life that we live. We have so many religions. We have so many religious gurus. We have so many holy books which tell us how to be good, what is ethics, what is morality, and yet, with all these great people, the Son of God, the Messenger of Allah, the avatars of Hindu pantheon of gods, with all these people and their stories and lots of thoughts which are there, still human behavior has not changed as such. We still see that how inhumanly, how monstrously we keep on behaving. So ethical concerns are there everywhere. And so far as it will remain in the physical world, it is going to come in the virtual arena, into academics also, into all the phases also. So what we do, we tell students, we orient students, like when they go for a normal exams, we tell that how you will do. You will not talk with somebody sitting nearby you. You should not share anything with them. And yet we know that they talk, they share, and then they are caught doing malpractice in exams also. So we should not be afraid that if people are misusing ChatGPT or generative AI, It doesn't mean that we should shut it down. That's what we are not doing in real world. That if something goes wrong with say, for example, a woman in a hospital or in higher education, we don't tell that no women should go to hospital or to the higher education institutes. So the same way, the same path we should adopt for generative AI. People are going to do like wrong use will obviously there. We have to train them. We have to orient them. What is right use of it? What is wrong use of it? Constantly, we have to keep on doing that. Somebody should be users also. We will not get very quickly somebody from the heaven to come down and teach us how to use generative AI. That responsibility is with teachers now. That in the bygone ages, people were coming from the heaven to teach us how to be good on the earth. But now it is the role of teachers and parents that you use it and display that how better it can be done, how effectively it can be used. That is the only way that we have to work out with all these things. But I would not suggest that keep it outside the thing. Let us keep on using it, evolving it, finding solutions to the problems that we keep on facing.
Thank you so much, sir. We do not have any questions as such, but we can see that there are a lot of comments on today's session. So participants have commented, like they have expressed their gratitude, and they have commented that this was an extremely laudable speech and it was a wonderful presentation, very insightful, very enriching. And they've also asked for the recorded version of this particular session, so which we might provide very soon. So we are extremely indebted and honored for this prompt response, because I remember the day I had asked, you had promptly responded that you would be supervising the session. So we are extremely indebted and honored for your prompt response to supervise the session. And we would love to have you on our campus physically one day, because I think a physical one-to-one interactive session would be more enriching. So, sir, please, it's a request that try to take time out of your busy schedule and please come and visit us on our campus one day.
Of course,
Yes.
I will. We will see. We'll work it out something. Yeah.
Before we wind up the session, I just want to share a small token of gratitude. So this is from us, a very humble token of gratitude for Professor Dilip Barad, who could actually take time out of his busy schedule and make himself available, and has delivered such an enriching and insightful session. So thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks, everybody. Yeah.
Now, for the participants, the feedback link has been posted on the chat box of Zoom, and it has also been posted on the WhatsApp broadcast group. So you're requested to register the feedback within 4:45, because the link will close after that. And tomorrow, please come and join us at 2. There is a slight change in the schedule. So instead of 3 to 4, we'll have the session from 2 to 3. And after that, we'll conduct an online test. It is a reminder to the participants that 80% attendance as well as 60% 60% marks in the online test is required for the availability of certificate. So it's a mandate for the participants to maintain the attendance and the proper percentage of marks to avail the certificates. So tomorrow we are meeting again at 2. So we request everybody to join us at 2 o'clock tomorrow. Thank you so much.